Hey, hey, hey. I made it back in time, so I will do this. If you guys want for Friday's live, instead of talking about Jada, I think I need to step back a little bit. Um, uh, do you guys know who Dana Chanel is? If you know, please let me know. I pointed out the case, the complaint, and I went through it, and there is a lot to discuss. So let me know on Friday if you want to discuss this more significant, I think, piece of information, or if you guys want to talk about other things. But you get that option. Hey, Black Tinkerbell, welcome. So, again, let me know if you want to go through the sort of complaints against Dana Chanel. Dana Chanel, by the way, is a media personality, I guess. She's an entrepreneur who um, has a husband, and they're being charged for scamming. So if you want to hear about that and the sort of legal issues and some stories from some of the people who are filing complaints against her, please let me know. Also, let me know if you can hear me. Please let me know if you can hear me. Welcome, Carla. I'm glad you caught alive. Welcome, everyone. Sophia, welcome. Please let me know if you can hear me as I play the intro music. All right. I actually was going to address something in the beginning, but I'm not. I decided I'm not going to. Grab your coffee, water, tea. This is mud water, and from the looks of it, there's some separation going on between the milk and the mud. So that. Oh, that is good though. My new mixture is working. All right. So again, let's put a one in the chat if you guys want to continue the regularly scheduled program for Friday, or if you guys want me to talk about the complaint against Dana Chanel and her businesses. There are allegations about her scamming companies. So on Friday, I will either talk about, I'm not going to tell you what yet, or I can talk about Dana Chanel. So that is the option for Friday. So drop a one if you guys would like to hear about Dana Chanel on Friday. All right, cool. There's one. It's going to be legally dense, and this is why I decided that I would give you guys the option instead of throwing a ton at you, because we're going to take a bit of a time to go through the complaint and for us to discuss the implication. And really, maybe it will have a sort of reverberating effect on the way that people in social media and in the social media space decide to engage with their audience and sell to their audience. Because if the allegations are true against her and her businesses and her business partners, it's really disturbing. It is absolutely disturbing. In any case, let's get to this video, because that has, I see ones, and I will no, Squid Game is going to be on Sunday. It's not against Squid Games. The lead attorney's trash bag also. Ignore is makeup wearing. Wait, he wears makeup? I didn't know that. Um, people keep telling me I wear makeup, which I think it, thank you. I appreciate that. All right, cool. So let's get into this video. So we've been talking about the DaNiLeigh situation all over social media for a while, and it there's so much that I don't really care about in that story. And even yesterday, as I was talking about it, I found myself being annoyed by the fact that it's happening. But I got sent a clip. Oh, Thank you. I appreciate that. I got sent a clip from one of the subscribers, and it was the lead attorney, and he was covering the topic, but he decided to have people call in and discuss some of what was happening. And so I want to play this interaction. This, by the way, is going to be a short live. I'll let you guys come up and we can talk. You have great skin, Themis. Love the glow. My dermatologist would be very proud. I try to go at least once a month um, to get situated. Black people deserve luxury. By the way, I just finished Kim's For Harriet video, and she did a really good video. She ended by saying black people deserve black women, sorry, deserve luxury and so much more. And I really appreciated that ending because I was actually sort of rejecting what she was saying because underlining what she claimed to be espousing was this idea that luxury means one thing, where I think a lot of people define luxury differently. So I actually was going to talk about her video too at some point, but I decided not because the way she ended it, I understand what she's saying. I get it. I get it. I don't fully agree with her, but I get it. So no need for a response. All right, let's get into this video. So the lead attorney had someone on, and they were talking about, oh, you guys are the nicest. Your videos are intellectually stimulating. Mood rights. I don't know. Your youthful glow does look a little too perfect. And that's just that on that. And that's just I love it. I'm actually very happy that people are saying that my face looks different. Well, not different. I don't think anyone said different, but like glowing. So, all right, let's get to the lead attorney. Quickly so we don't run way over time and the moderators go crazy. By the way, if you guys want, I probably shouldn't say this because I actually don't know how to set it up yet, but I can try to figure out a way that I can alert you guys when I go live. I don't know how I would do that yet. I would figure it out. But I could find a way to sort of notify you guys yourself, maybe emails, I don't know, so that you guys can know when I go live. Because a lot of people say they aren't notified, and I feel really bad for that. And I'm unable to really stick to my schedule because work and life. Themis is hydrated while minding other people's business. Yeah. All right, so let's get to the video. All right, the lead attorney talking about DaniLeigh, and this is what happened. Let's play it.
That was something. That was something. All right, we got Koja Malik. Is that how you say it?
Just Koja.
Koja, okay. How are you doing, Koja? We're kind of in the express around here. Thank you so much. What do you know in 3 minutes? What do you think about this situation with DaBaby?
I'm gonna speak to the law. First of all, I don't know what the state he was in, but you know, a lot of times once you
wait, is this true? Themis and Thoth, if you start a Discord server and put, I don't know what that means, but in there it will notify all of your followers or get a text alert service. All right. I'll post on the community tab and you can hopefully reach me there. Oh, actually, no. Here's my banner. My email is flashing across the screen. Please email me so we can figure out how to set this up. Please make sure that it does not cause anyone money. I do not feel comfortable having anyone pay for anything. So make sure that whatever service we're using, that the people who are signing up for it can do so for free. That is my only stipulation, and that I would be the only one with the information. Even if I have to pay for that, let me be the only one with people's information if they decide to provide it for privacy reasons. So email me and I can figure out how to do it. Or if you can point me to um, a group, a business, or whatever that does this for you, let me know. I don't mind paying for it, but I don't want anyone to pay. All right, let's start over and let's watch.
That was something. That was something. All right, we got Koja
Koja.
Koja Malik. Is that how you say it?
Just Koja.
Koja, okay. How are you doing, Koja? We're kind of in the
Good.
express around here. Thank you so much. What do you know in 3 minutes? What do you think about this situation with the
Well,
baby?
I'm gonna stick to the law. First of all, I don't know what the state he was in, but you know, a lot of times once you stay a place a night or two or receive mail, you are a resident and they have to evict you in court, not the police. The police can't do that. So his proper thing would have been to go. He actually should have just rented her a space for a month or put her up in a hotel, and he wouldn't have that problem. He just wouldn't have to pay the bill. He came to her, from what I understand, in the middle of the night. That's a bad look for him as
All right, so let's stop for a moment. What this lady is talking about is actually true in some cases. Now, obviously, it depends on what state you're in. The landlord tenant rule is different for a lot of different states, right? And so, by the way, if you ever go to law school, property, your first year is one of the hardest classes you will ever take, right? And so the answer to the question, and the question is whether or not DaniLeigh had a sort of legal right to be in DaBaby's home after he told her to leave. It is difficult to answer that question without facts. It is absolutely difficult to answer that question without any facts. So, and by facts, I mean, does she pay rent? Does she pay money for anything at all that could be perceived as rent? Is there an implication that a contract is created that is a lease? Is there any indication that this would be an at-will sort of lease? Is it a month-to-month tenancy? Is it a period? Is there any suggestion through email, text, that she was supposed to be there for a set period of time? Like the answer to the question of whether she is supposed to be there is one that is not readily answerable by an attorney, myself included, and the lead attorney who was not there, right? So that's the first thing. I think the second part of this is, it is true that if the police came and there is some sort of indication that there could be a lease or some right absent a lease for her to be there per de facto, I shouldn't use the word de facto here, but in the colloquial sense, month-to-month tenancy that is created, because in the absence of a lease, when you're generally with in a place where you pay rent, even without a lease, it is usually sort of decided by the court that it is a month-to-month lease or a month-to-month tenancy, right? It could also be an at-will tenancy. It could be a license which is allowing someone to utilize your property. It could be a lot of different things. We don't have the facts in front of us to decide how and what this kind of tenancy or lease is. We just don't have it, right? We can make assumptions about what it is and what it should be, but we don't have it. The fact that the police left her there might indicate that she has some right there. And maybe this is a civil dispute that requires him to maybe file an eviction notice or start an eviction proceedings or sue her for something or another. It does not answer that the police showed up, does not answer the question of if she was legally allowed to be there, right? So I want to put that out because of something that happens next. Stevenson, so do you know if the lead attorney is practicing and what his so he claimed to be a marriage attorney. I I do corporate stuff, so anywho, let's go.
A man and as the father to put her out in the middle of the night. The police did not have to do anything unless a crime was committed. If you, Tyrone, you stay the night at my house a couple of nights and I tell the police I want you out, they're going to say, no, ma'am, you got to take him to court. The police can't do that. And he should have waited the next day, went to his attorney and had his attorney resolve that. So he put himself actually in a bad spot because he didn't have to be there. He said you going to put me in no 5-star hotel because you're going to pay the fee for one night and then I'm going to be SOL. I don't think she's even from that state. So he should be smarter. He should not have done that. And if he want her to come and stay for a month with him and he when he
Yeah, he talks about marriage law, but it would be under marriage law, prenups, divorce, all of that would be under the broader category of family law.
want to hit it, rent her a place for a month, a townhouse, a B&B or something like that. That way he ain't got to say leave. He could just go to his next place. From my understanding, he also had another place that he said that was his penthouse. So he had somewhere where he could go. So be smart if you're gonna do that. And if she the first baby mama to put him on child support, she gonna be the one who get the biggest check. Cause the two who just getting the handouts where he give them without it being official is not gonna get it because his net income is not reduced. So she better be the smart one and be the first one to put him on while them other two back there getting a side dick in between people. She better be the first to put it on paper because the first one get the most, not the oldest. But that's
so the lady speaking right now is not completely off, right? If I were talking to her, I would not correct her on anything. And the reason I would not correct her on anything is I don't have the facts to correct her. And she is generally in the right ballpark about what the appropriate legal thing to do in this case is. Now, nothing I say is legal advice, just an FYI. But she is saying that based on the living situation, that there could possibly be some right, a creation of a lease to some degree, even if there is an absence of a written lease for her to be there, right? And that needs to be resolved through the court, a civil court or a landlord-tenant court, right? That needs to be done. And DaBaby would need to go to his attorney or maybe in person, right? Himself, represent himself and try to evict her and remove her from the premise, right? Easy enough. Well, not really, but easy enough. I don't see an objection to her argument yet. Now, when it comes to child support and things like that, I don't care. But let's continue.
That's the law. And I ain't gonna be emotional and talk about what the police should have done when that was a civil situation and not a place. It wasn't a criminal situation. So the police did not have a right to be involved. That is the courts is the place where it would be resolved.
Yeah,
and
I disagree with you there. I disagree with you there.
Depending on the state, depending on the state.
Listen, please listen. Hello, hey, hello, can you hear me? All right, you're talking about the law, but you're talking about the law to a 20-year attorney, right? So it'd be good.
I say depending on the state. I'm not from Atlanta, so it may be different from your state because we know the statute.
It seems like you don't even want to listen. Okay. Yeah, I don't know I don't think they're in Atlanta, but I don't know where they are. Right? I don't know where they are. Something occurred to the extent that two.
All right. So I'm of two minds here. I get why a professional in their field would get annoyed when a lay person is trying to explain to them the law. What I don't get is if she is not inaccurate in her sort of assessment of the law, why you would represent that you are a 20-year attorney and how dare she speak to you about the law, right? Particularly when you don't yourself go to explain how she's wrong, right? Like, I would like to hear him articulate how and where she's wrong. Not to say he doesn't know anything, because, well, he probably does, right? So if he has some knowledge about the law, um, so we are doxing people now. I hope. Why would you? Why would you then aim it my way? If people are doing something poorly in the chat, then ignore it, delete it, have the moderators delete it. Why would you then aim that in my way, Dean? Like, I don't understand why you would do something like that. And what I know you did that probably. I don't know. You probably did that to trigger me to respond to what is going on in the chat. But you can literally say, Themis, people are doxing people in the chat, I think. Can you tell them to stop? You can literally ask. You don't have to do that passive aggressive thing, because what you just did and what now I am contributing to is a shift in energy towards possibly doxing me, right? Like, no, you are, Dean. You could have asked, like, you literally could have asked me to, or tell me that they were doxing people in the chat and that I should probably tell them not to. If I see anyone doxing, I will tell them not to. Like, that is a really mean-spirited, passive-aggressive approach to something that did not need it. Like, you could have asked. Doxing is bad. If you've tried to dox someone in here, please retract that. You will be blocked if you're doxing people. I don't appreciate that. So please don't do that. Dean, you do this a lot of the times. It's the same thing someone said, Kevin Samuels was gay, and you made the assumption that I am gay, and how dare me not. You said, oh, so Themis is just going to let people call Kevin Samuels gay, as if I have control over people. Like, you do this a lot. A lot. Instead of directly stating an opinion, you passive aggressively write about things, and it's becoming a bit daunting. So let's continue. I forgot where I was. To summarize, it is important that when we look at someone saying, oh, I have 20 years of experience, if you're doing so, hopefully you're doing so to explain how that person was right or wrong. He has not done that. Someone said, retracted my comment. I'm not trying to dox anyone. Thank you. That's all that was necessary. Guys, let's play it safe and not add nothing personal. Yeah, let's do that.
Police officers came out. Once they were in the house, they had the right to conduct an investigation, and they had a right to order this woman to do certain things for their own safety. And when this woman ignored their lawful commands, they absolutely had a right to not only.
This is the last time I'm going to address this. You did not, and we had this conversation where you thought women in the chat were being racist, and I ignored it because I feel like you were willfully being obtuse in a response to your comment. So I get all the hate pointing out someone is doxing. Okay, no, you get all the hate because instead of telling me that someone is doxing and that I should probably address it, you turned it around on me, talking about how would they feel if Themis got doxed. No, just ask me to stop it. And that's the last time I'm going to address this, because it's throwing the entire energy off of what is important. Let's continue.
To get physical with her, but to arrest her. Something that they would have done to a black man 100% of the time. So when you're saying, oh, no laws were broken, I can tell you're not an attorney. Like, I appreciate your opinion.
All right. So this is incorrect. The lady did not say that her resisting arrest, which is actually illegal, right? So a law would be broken. a law would be broken if in that case she declined to adhere to what the police was saying. But that's not what the conversation was about. She was saying that DaniLeigh, in being there, might not have broken a law, and so the police did not have jurisdiction when it came to a civil matter, something that she's not completely wrong on. And he has yet to sort of push back with his 20 years of experience against what the woman said that was so inappropriate. But on a separate note, right, instead of pushing back, he then went to a completely different issue, which was whether or not the DaniLeigh, I keep saying the lady, DaniLeigh was resisting arrest or not following orders. Because if she was being arrested, the question would be, what was she being arrested for? And if there's nothing there, then there's a conversation there. But other than that, you as a civilian, if you are not doing anything illegal, unless we're talking about stop and frisk, right? You do not actually have to comply. I mean, I will say comply with the police, right? Like, do not chance it. We know what's happening out in these streets. Do not chance that. But like, you don't. You have a right to privacy. Your right, the entire Constitution is predicated on limited, I mean, to the extent you believe in the Constitution, no powers, right? To limit the government, right? And that's at the federal level. At the state level, they also have similar sort of state in Constitution. I don't think you guys care about this, so let's continue. Or at least this part. Anchin, I think it's the part where you said, "I hope the," yeah, that's the part that I hope he got it.
But
I
I
was
mean,
talking in regards to him, not the police. I was only speaking to if she had assaulted him or something of that nature, not in regards to the police. So that was the
I
context.
thought you said that the police shouldn't have been involved. And
I'm
I'm
saying if
explaining
they
to
went,
you.
no, I'm saying if they went there and they
Wait, see, this is the thing that he just reframed it, and I wish she had said yes. I said the police should not have been involved. Now, if you're calling, there are two separate things happening here, right? There was charges for petty battery, right? That the police can and should be involved in. If you are a woman, you should not be putting your hands on a man. Similarly, a man should not be putting your hands on a woman. I get that. Agreed. What the conversation was about, however, here was eviction or getting, well, let's not use eviction because that's a legal term of art, but it was about getting DaniLeigh out of the condo, right? And if that is a civil matter, right, then she is correct that the police should not have been involved. If she had stood her ground here and said, yes, I don't think the police should have been involved in this case, she wouldn't be wrong unless the lead attorney can point out how and why the police should be involved. And it cannot be that the lady, DaniLeigh, fail to adhere to what the police is saying, because at that point when the police is telling you something, the police is already involved. So the way he is trying to reframe this does not actually work, and it's fresh to hear someone say that the police should rough up someone, right? Like particularly a black man, to hear him say that the police should be roughing up other people, it's a very strange thing. But let's continue.
investigated and no crime had been committed and they determined that, then
She was
they could
committing
not
a
put her
crime.
out. That's what I'm saying.
Go ahead.
I'm saying if they determined after they investigated that no crime had been committed, they could not have forced her to leave. Depending on the state statute, he would have had to take it to court. And that was the only context I was speaking in. I was not speaking in regards to them giving her a command.
Gotcha. Okay. Well, thank you so much, Koja. Really appreciate you coming up.
Thank you. Don't be getting all emotional. Don't be getting emotional.
No.
All right, before we get to this part, someone said, I talked to him on one of his live stream. I mentioned black femicide and the high rate of domestic DV. He outright denied it and said I was anti-black man and propaganda. Okay, I wish I saw that.
Oh, fuck that. I will absolutely get emotional when
I
the
think
government.
emotional.
No, you listen. When the government is not giving black men the protection that they need, I will absolutely get emotional.
Okay,
Like,
but we're
and
gonna keep
people
to the
get emotional
safety.
for black women all the time.
Baby, okay.
Don't baby me. Don't fucking baby me. You know, if I was up here being emotional about black women, all of you black women would be patting me on the back. Oh, the lead attorney. Right? But when you try to stand up for black men, then it's, oh, don't get emotional. Fuck that. Like, what's wrong with some of you people? Like, no one wants to stand up for black men. If I am screaming trying to help black women, it's, oh, you tell them, lead, support black women. But if I'm up here screaming for black men, oh, you're too emotional. The fuck is wrong with some of you? Like, you don't even see it. You don't even see it. It's like none of y'all see this shit. You know what? I should just end the stream, man, because listen, I love y'all black women. Y'all are pissing me off. And I don't want to be this way. I know it's not all of y'all. I've seen some really great comments, but it's the people that come up here telling me not to get emotional when I'm trying to protect a black man. But if I was trying to protect a black woman, all of you women would be patting me on the back. And none of y'all see it. Right? I'm gonna just let y'all talk. y'all kind of got me fucked up a little bit. All right, we got Ian. Is it Ian?
Yeah,
I got my glasses on.
Okay, something that I will not do is I will not endeavor to say that or say with authority, because I'm going to say it. I'm not going to say with authority because I don't know him. I'm not a psychologist. I'm going to say that that was not authentic. I think that was performative. None of that felt real to me. But I also don't know how people process their emotion. I don't know when and how emotional outbursts like this tend to happen. But I tend to believe that he's trying too hard. Also, Noble B. The notion that no one cares about black men seems very specifically odd to me in a world where Black Lives Matter is sort of gained a foothold of contemporary culture and the way in which we decide to advocate. Now, I don't think that this diminishes in any way the fact of racism in the world, but to say no one cares about black men ignores the people who put life and limb on the line, right, in the pursuit of protection of black men. Now, I am not going to go into stats on who attacks black men. I'm not going to do that. I'm not going to go into any stats on who attack black women. But when we talk about the protection and who cares about a group, one has to ask a question, and that question is specifically related to how does that group care for itself? And I'm not just talking about black men, I'm talking about black women, I'm talking about people who have the capacity or should have the capacity to care for themselves. We are in a system that I think is fundamentally flawed. I will grant that. I also think when it comes to the way in which conversations around blackness is being had, that it's not fully formed or fleshed out in any meaningful way. So it becomes this convoluted ball of mess that no one understands how to metabolize that kind of information. I will point out that it is absolutely not the case. And I saw some of the people from his channel and the manosphere in here saying he is right. I put the link in the chat, and this is not for the people who have always been here with me. This is for people who have not been here with me. I did not realize that you guys would be here, so I've not prepared. I'm off guard, right? If you are here and you think that he's right, and you do want to add to this conversation, you will be getting a ton of pushback from me because I think he's fundamentally incorrect about everything that he just said regarding no one caring about Black men. And the fact that there is a ton of pushback when there is advocacy for Black men, but there's not a ton of pushback when there's advocacy for Black women. In fact, someone just posted about the Black femicide, and there was systematic, right? Systematic procedures in place to prevent a Black femicide march in Atlanta, right? A lot of the conversations that are happening about who gets to speak and about what, um, and about what, right? It is highly, highly, highly important that we contextualize what is happening with reality and not just say whatever we feel, right? So um Kevin Samuel Expose is doxing people. Can someone put if people are doxing anyone in the chat, can you just time them out or block them, moderators? We've made the warning, so go ahead and do that. I don't have patience or time for that. This balding man needs to calm down. Super forehead. I was gonna say no ad hominems, but I broke my own rule the other day. So there is that. I posted the link again. Sorry, I was really distracted. There's a million and one things happening all at once. I love it bothers me a lot that when it bothers me a lot when we engage in these kinds of racial conversations and we are not being honest. I think it does a disservice to us and whatever move we're trying to create or movement we're trying to create or get behind or become a part of. I think one of my biggest concern is that I don't think a lot of people on social media and creating platforms are doing so to help other people. I'm realizing now that it's obviously a for-profit endeavor, but also a popularity contest, and it feels like when you're in or on a side that you don't get to fully be human, in that you don't get to articulate maybe even the conflicting ideas that you come up with, because you have to always drive home a narrative. And the narrative, it seems, and it's not just perpetual victimhood, it's an ignoring of reality to justify your claim that you within your culture, you're being abused in some ways, right? And it does not make sense to me that I'm going to go ahead and say it. It doesn't make sense to me that Black men are speaking of victimhood within the Black community. Now, they can. I feel like as Black men, we can talk about the broader racial hierarchy and structures in place preventing upward mobility or whatever you want to cry about. I don't care. I'll cry about it with you. But when we think about the power within the community and who gets protected within the community, it makes no sense to me that people would even, Black men, would even endeavor at all to say something to the effect of, no one cares about Black men. Like that does not make sense to me. It doesn't compute. Control Alt Delete. The lead attorney shows up in a suit and is successful, allegedly. So we need to care that he is upset. Clown. This man is Kevin Samuels with the vocab. I actually do think that done right, he is probably and most likely will surpass Kevin Samuels. I think, well, outside of the outburst, like I don't think he understands that that outburst didn't help him, but he does have what people would call mainstream appeal. So if you can wrap hate in intelligence, right, and a package that is palatable, it is easily consumed by people who would otherwise reject it, right? It's funny. Well, let me not go into the women empowerment movement to talk about that and why I think a lot of people will not find it palatable in a lot of ways. But the manosphere for a lot of what we understand has been very niche. It has been very niche, and then Kevin Samuel sort of pushed the envelope a bit. I don't think it's possible, but stranger things have happened. I don't think Kevin Samuels can ever be mainstream as a Steve Harvey can, but I do think the lead attorney can, unless he has outbursts like that, and that's troubling. That is kind of troubling. But I'm more on that later because well, let me leave that alone. Anywho, thank you, by the way, me, for that super chat. You guys don't have to send super chat. You can write, and I will try to go through. I hate that it's so mainstream. Yeah, very performative, inauthentic, and very cringe to watch. Not to mention the obvious dishonesty he just performed. It's like an audition It's like an audition tape for the manosphere, gross and mediocre. You are not going to Hollywood. Concerned. So seeing that no one is willing to come up and defend him, and I see you guys in the chat. So concerned. Go ahead.
You beat me to the punch because I was going to bring up Steve Harvey. So same wavelength. It's like the guy in the suit who is a little bit more palatable. He seems like he has his stuff together. He buttons up his shirt. And so kind of like, and I mean, Bill Cosby has a very visceral reaction from the Avatar, but the idea of an educated man that is above it all and can therefore reprimand the Black community because he is educated. And it's like you are not even being honest about what's going on. And he's been dishonest so many times. And he's been condescending and disrespectful to so many people, patronizing in so many ways. He is the avatar of the patriarchy. The idea that he feels some sort of kingship, like you are also an attorney, right? We don't know how much money he makes or does not make. We don't know how successful he is, or we don't know if he's successful in winning cases or losing cases, whatever. We don't know if he's a successful attorney. All we know is that he says he's an attorney. But one of the most difficult things about, I think, Black media is that so many people go into these, become popular without being vetted at all, and so many people are allowed to speak for us without us even getting the ability to vote on it. Like I know that there's many civil rights leaders, for example, that do not speak for me, but they get to be the Black voice in the room and the Black advocate and the Black presence to say what Black people do or do not want. And so he reminds me of Al Sharpton and many other people who, present in that suit. But I mean, I don't know much about Al Sharpton in particular, but it's the same type of vein in that, like, he can, like you said, become mainstream. And it's so unfortunate because this is what the voice of Black manhood is going to sound like. We already know that Black women are differentiating themselves from Black men. We're almost diametrically opposite in so many ways. People do not assume that Black men speak for Black women. But as a person who one day wants to become a mother, it scares me that he speaks for Black men, and he is likely to become a spokesperson for Black men in a way that might be more impactful than other people, because he's also attractive, unfortunately. So where other men might be able to have gravitas, he is attractive, and so there's a certain amount of gravitas and appeal that people will have against their best interest. Because
I'm gonna do a poll concerning attractiveness. But let me see. We can debunk and discredit Kevin Samuels, but people like the lead attorney guy will claim legitimacy because of their background. This is definitely true, actually. Demus, would you ever discuss the way a lot of successful Black men have strong narcissistic vibe? So let me see. How do I put this? I try not to diagnose people via the internet, but I will accept that a lot of because there are so few Black people. All right, actually, let's remove the word Black for a moment. When we think about success in the U.S., it hopefully is not lost in anyone that majority of people are not rich, right? And so I don't think it is a Black man specific issue when it comes to having success and feeling like you own the world. And I'm assuming that's the narcissism. But I think for everyone who achieve a level of success, not everyone, a lot of people who it goes to their head. But then if you dwindle it down to a category of people we Black people who have even fewer, right? People who are successful, you think like that gentleman so disturbingly wrote when he graduated law school that he is the prize, right? The feeling that you are special or more special than other people is amplified by the fact that a lot of other people who are like you or would be in your category on quote unquote on your level. So I won't do a video necessarily, but I will agree with Houdini that success, let me put this up. Success really fuels the ego. I agree with this. Well, success fuels the ego for those people who have low self-esteem and depend on the success for their validation. That's an opinion that's predicated on my own thoughts. But here's the poll. If you think the lead attorney is attractive, no, I'm not doing it. Nope, not doing it. Kia, go ahead.
Shoot, I'm over here screaming, do it.
I know I'm not doing it. I'm not gonna. I'm not. So there's a petty side to me that comes out every now and then, but I don't think like I want other people to react to me if they want, but I would hope that they would react to what I say and my content rather than how I look. Which I mean, sure, you can do it. I'm very attractive, and no one can tell me anything different. If anyone asks me if I'm a 1 out of 10, it's going to be a 10. You cannot absolutely not tell me different. Don't tell me to be realistic. Don't tell me any of that. No, I'm a 10. I am the standard. I don't really care. Go ahead, Kiara.
I love it. But I was gonna say, well, if people find him attractive, that's all right. I think he's ugly. So I don't know what they're talking about.
I will not comment on that. Leave that alone.
I mean, I just see the inside of people more than anything. I mean, outside he's ugly too, but on the inside he's even more uglier. So that just makes it double ugly for me. I mean, for other women he may be attractive, but to me, you know, he's ugly. The big ass teeth, that fake smile, the fake sincerity. You can miss me with that BS.
I hear you guys. My comments on his attractiveness is like the fact that like other women from other groups, like universally, he looks like a Tyrese to me. And even though Tyrese is not,
no, you did not do that, concern.
No, in that the angular features, the baldness, the dark skin, and then the white teeth, like, and this is not me saying that, like, this is not me saying that like he is quote unquote handsome. What I'm saying is that he checks boxes for attractiveness, which is to me different.
Wait, the reason why I say a lot of Black men have not vibe is because perhaps they aren't used to it like other groups of men and like leadership skills. Yeah, I mean, I get you. Someone said Themis. London says Themis is a narc. Period. If you're gonna question me about my looks, just know, no. There are two things you can tell me: one, that I'm dumb, and two, that I'm ugly. I will never. That will never. My wall will never allow that in. So, for everyone going on people's show and saying, "Oh, I'm a 4. You can't pick 7. Okay, I'm a 5." I'm like, okay, girl. Then if you're a 5, you're a 5 because you are allowing people to rank you on their scale, and I don't know where they do that, but not where I was raised. They're like, oh, you're delusional. All right, well, I'm gonna live in my delusion. So that's that on that. um Damn right, theme is LOL. Theme is, all right, go ahead. I think that is it. I wanted to find out from any of the guys who were in the chat saying he was right if they were coming up, but they probably left. Did you say something?
Oh no, I was just making sure that I heard what I heard. What he said. He said that no one protects black men. Is that correct?
Yeah.
Yeah. The only person that doesn't protect black men is black men. So I don't know what he's talking about. I mean, that's really the question right there. The question is, why don't y'all protect yourselves? And the better question is, why do you need a woman to protect you? Why do you need me to protect you?
Questions need answers, man. These questions need answers.
Exactly.
Yeah.
You're supposed to be the natural leader. You should have answers for me. I shouldn't be asking questions and all you give me is silence or excuses. I should have answers.
Yeah. Yeah. And my thing is, if you're saying she's not you, but if the lead attorney is saying you're wrong separately and I have 20 years of experience, okay, tell me how I am wrong. And let me know what your experience have to do with what we're talking about. By the way, before you guys go, please leave a 1 in the chat. This is a poll. If you guys want me to talk about Donna, this lady who allegedly scammed people, Pennsylvania, the attorney general is going after her for scamming people. I will have videos and stuff. But if you guys want me to talk about that on Friday, please let me know. Again, it's going to be legally dense. This is a 50-page document that I finished reading today, and I took my notes and I'm making a PowerPoint so that you guys don't have to read the entire thing. And we can go through it and talk about how these people were being scammed out of thousands and thousands of dollars allegedly. So I haven't done any kind of this material in a while, but I think we should probably. Yeah. All right. Cool. It's all 1s. So I realized I didn't give an option for a dissent. Put a 2 if you would like me not to. Anywho, if anyone wants to come on, by the way, please do. I have like 4 more minutes. And by the way, Concerned, is it Kier? You guys can add anything if you want as we wait for other people to jump on in the next, 4 minutes, sorry. I can't.
Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
Oh, I was just gonna say the Concern. She was on here your other stream, and I just wanted to like high five her because what she said was like a whole word. I didn't even think about that because she said point blank, like, when do men expect us to stop sacrificing? They never do. So no, you should never stop making an income.
Yeah. Well, I mean, if DaniLeigh's situation is anything, it highlights that you should always have an exit plan.
And it's so funny because DaniLeigh, whatever, I find it so sad because women are the biggest perpetrators of this lie. And it's also women that will tell you to do it, but make excuses in their head as to why the things they do, even though they are not aligned with that belief system, makes sense. Like, oh, I'm submissive to my man. Girl, you are not. You might be agreeable towards your man, but you make twice his income. You are the majority of the decision making. Usually he's just there to sign things off. Like you're not, it's not the same thing. And I think particularly in terms of our culture, we have to start defining what we think some of these things are, because words mean different things in different contexts. And thank you so much, Kier. I think too, when you think about submission, and I mean, I know that you had a few minutes left, but I do want to share one thing, that an epiphany I had the other day. That I was telling my homeboy about. The submissive women are the women who got pregnant young. Like they're the women who are agreeable. The women who would believe the things that little boys tell them about how they feel about them. They don't vet. They don't complain. The submissive women are the women that they're saying that they don't want. Like the women who say no, who take an active role in their life, who would go out and not fall into depression in the same way that women who are agreeable in every single facet of life are the ones that you're trying to vie for. You get what I'm saying? I don't know if I'm articulating it well, but it's a shot in the foot when you're saying submissive in every angle.
See, the thing is, I don't know how to define submission, and I don't know who are the people who are quote unquote getting pregnant, but I don't like for me. So I actually had a comment. Someone made a comment about why are black women telling DaNiLeigh that she needs to choose better, because when black men tell black women that they need to choose better, everyone is up in arms. And I had to explain that the BWE, like the pink pill, everyone is telling black women to choose better, right? The ideas, and by the way, I'm not calling anyone this, but when people call people dusty, it is to say women should not be engaging with them. So it is essentially saying women should choose better. Now, the problem is, well, I don't know if it's a problem. Choosing better tends to mean not choosing black, right? In a lot of these spaces. And so the man who said it ignored the fact that for my channel, right, I don't tell women what to do. But if you're asking me about the position of men and women in the black community, my ideas aren't about who you choose or what you choose. My ideas is about men being better, right? Like, so I am not the one who's going to say women should choose better. I am the one who's going to say men should be better. Like, that's going to be my stance. Like that is the stance, hopefully, of the channel, but this is my stance personally. So I don't care if you choose better or worse. Like, I think you should choose better, but I don't care to tell you that because you're not my child. I don't care to engage in the kinds of conversation about what women should and should not do, because it becomes preachy. As a man, I don't feel comfortable doing that. As a man, I can feel very comfortable saying man should be better. I feel very comfortable doing that. The both is not attractive. Thank you. Demas, please put the mud water down and just make peace with it. You no longer have to suffer. No, I have too much boxes of mud, too many boxes of mud water. And by too many, I have two. The moderators all have now. That was an excursion. But yeah. Themis, I like you, and I also like TLA. Everyone has the pros and cons. I don't throw anyone away because I might disagree, but I get it. Not you like TLA. Wait, what do you like about me? Because I'm very concerned that you probably don't like me. Lorraine put $55. Thank you. There were no comments. Someone said, "What is mud water?" Go ahead, Hope.
Hey y'all, how's it going?
We're doing well. How are you?
I'm great. So with this whole what's her name? I'm sorry, I don't know. Lenny, what's her name? This is so bad. I swear to God, I'm not being shady.
No, DaNiLeigh.
Okay. Yeah. What is mind-boggling to me is the low self-esteem of so many women out there. Like, I just don't understand how somebody could be kicking you out and you're still hanging around. I feel like sadly, this is a theme for, I would say, a large percentage of women. And it doesn't matter what they look like. It doesn't matter their socioeconomic status. It doesn't matter what their family was like. Like, there's something really wrong with us. Like, this is not okay. This is absolutely not okay. And I'm not, like, my brother the other day, the other one, said something really good. He said the whole society grooms women to accept abuse. And I'm like, that is 100% true. And the whole society gaslights women constantly to be a part of abusing other women, and also saying that this is the norm. And
Yeah.
I'm just really like shocked, because I'm constantly like, do people think they're ugly? like, I mean, maybe this is my, I don't know, maybe privilege in some way, but like, do you know what I mean? Like, and maybe this is where like
Ask the
being.
question about ugly again.
I'm sorry.
Ask the question about ugly again.
Like, do people really think they're ugly out there? Like women, especially. You know, I mean, men will let men do their men thing. I'm out of it. You know, I'm not in the arena of that. But
that is an easy answer without research. Yes. People think they're ugly. A lot of Black people, both men and women, struggle from a lack of, well, not a lack, everyone has some, struggle from low self-esteem. I want to say it's intentional, but I won't. I think our society preys on the fact that for women, particularly the beauty industry, requires women to not think they're beautiful, right? To engage in it meaningfully, and spend money. But for Black women, right? Black women have been fed that they are the least attractive. That is a thing that Black women have been told over and over again by Black men, by the white society that put the standards of beauty to fair skin, the Eurocentric standard of beauty. So if a woman, a Black woman, is born and raised in a Western society, and she somehow happens to have a high sense of self, then that is commendable, because she does that not because but despite of the culture that she was raised in. It is impossible to completely insulate a Black woman from the negative images of Black womanhood that is presented in the world, right? So yes, a lot of people, Black men and women, think very, very low of themselves. And it's unfortunate because when I see a Black woman, right, and I think about Miss Universe, for example. She's the perfect example. Miss Universe, I forgot her name. I think she's from South Africa. She won when, well, whatever. When I see her, I am like, oh my God, this woman looks elegant and she looks beautiful. And when I think, and this is not the best thing to think about, but I'm like, how do we not see the beauty in that, right? And there are people, I'm not going to call their names because it's unfortunate. When I was a child, I thought these women were ugly, and then now I see pictures of them after like sort of changing my views, and it wasn't about light skin, it was about specific features. I'm like, how was I brainwashed into thinking these women were not attractive? Like, how? This was when I was a child. So I understand to some degree, because I was never colorist. I cannot remember a time when I was. So, but I can understand why people, after being fed that the princess is supposed to be white, cannot see Black women as in need of help and beautiful in that way. And so now that we have some level of control in the media, not a lot, a very little bit, it bothers me that we continue, Black men, and Black women continue to degrade our own image, right? It sucks that everything that is promoted, even in hip hop, is the stripper, right? Or the gangster. And it's like, I know we are a minority in terms of the people actually doing professional work and maybe actually trying to do something with their lives. But how do we start pushing that image? How do we stop shaming each other about you are not being attractive and you're 4, you're 3, just stop. And I don't know
I
how to
think
stop
because it's
that.
easier than doing the actual work of
Yeah,
self-love.
agreed. Who
I
just said that? Was
mean,
that Hope?
I'm sorry?
Was that Hope? I agree with you.
Yeah.
Oh, BS, welcome to membership. Momo, you hold your thought. Hope, I'll let you finish. Welcome, Momo, my weird membership dance. I will have membership videos coming shortly. All of this will be changed because I am moving shortly. I don't want to be a landlord ever, but I feel like I'm going that route. I'm going to have to go that route, but I hate the idea of being a landlord. So, anywho, go ahead, Hope.
Yeah, I just, I mean, I agree with you fully, and I felt it. I mean, I'm a woman in this world, and I'm not going to say too much about myself, but, you know, like, it's not like I don't have to deal with everything. But I feel like the true act of rebellion in this society is to love yourself fully and truly from the inside out. And that is dangerous. That is dangerous if you do that, because you don't make the money, as much money, you're miserable, you put yourself in positions where you can be abused, and you are a perpetual servant to somebody else, whether it's in relationships or work and so on and so forth. And it's an ongoing thing. It's not easy. And different people start from different baselines. And of course, I think Black American women, ADOs specifically, have the hardest time with this. I'm not ADOs, but it breaks my heart when my friends can go through some things, because sometimes when you're from a different place, from the diaspora, like, you have a different reference, like travel and just see the different beauty standards. Like over here, it's like, oh, your butt is too big. Over there, it's like, oh, it's beautiful.
Yeah,
So on and so forth.
this might be weird. So Miss YouTube says, I notice men walk around confidently, but women don't seem to have a lot of confidence when walking. More women should walk erect with their chin level to the ground, looking people in the eye. I agree with you. I wouldn't say they're confident. A lot of people are very good at pretending. Dean says he could tell you were an ADOS. I could not. I thought you were.
Oh.
Yeah, welcome membership. Weird dance. All right, go ahead, Black Tinkerbell, and then we have statuesque.
Hi, thanks for having me on. I just wanted to talk a little bit about the opposite side of what she's saying too. I had a friend that was really, really full of herself, and she didn't feel as if, if the girl didn't look better than her, things like that. So I think one of the problems that it seems like DaniLeigh has is that she's better than an ADOS woman. She's better than a more brown-skinned woman. So she feels that she can behave in that manner, that he's going to keep taking her over and over and over again. And I'm sure this isn't the first incident that they've been in similar to this. I feel like some women can be so confident in their looks that they can create a toxic environment by thinking that that's all it takes for a man to give in to them and things like that. So I also noticed that she has brothers and that they've, threatened to do harm to them, to the baby and things like that. So it's really crazy that all of this is coming out in front of their child, their brand new baby. And she's, treating this as if it's some type of celebrity thing, when we just seen that rapper get killed today, just going to buy cookies, literally at a cookie store.
Yeah.
He was killed. So it's not a game to be out there claiming abuse or putting your hands on people, but we have this environment that I've seen develop over the years of social media, that this is all fun and games. And it's very, very scary to see now, people that are fans of DaBaby, her brother coming on saying, he's going to, jump him or, lay hands on him when he sees him, things like that. It just puts everybody at risk. It should be taken way more seriously than, the whole yellow bone versus Mimi situation, because people are really dying. People are
Yeah.
really being hurt, from things
I
that are said on social media.
By the way, I don't know who I've seen you around, but I don't think I've ever spoken to you. I absolutely adore
No.
your voice.
Oh,
Um,
yeah, thank
um,
you.
I agree. I am one of the things that I talked about, I called a therapist. I'm concerned that in the pushback against DaniLeigh for her colorism, that we ignore the tremendous amount of harm that DaBaby gets to get away with.
Right.
Um,
Exactly.
and
Exactly.
I too don't appreciate that. But I'm glad you came on, and I'm happy you spoke. You spoke
Yeah.
so
Yeah. I
much.
love your channel. Your channel is, I swear, it's a breath of fresh air.
Oh,
It
thank
really
you.
is. It really is. I think the topics that you talk about are great. Your support of both ends, you're very fair. So absolutely, I'm glad to be able to catch you live as often
Thank
as I
you.
do. Yeah,
Thank you.
absolutely.
I appreciate that. Um,
Absolutely.
TLA's outburst was performative. Unfortunately, he thinks it's necessary to appease his red pill audience and keep the money coming in. Yeah, I do hope that I don't know. This is not about TLA, but oh, thank you, Jay. That I don't ever CJ Jay. I hope that I never r- depend on YouTube. I hope that it never becomes part of my life. Um, so yeah, because one of the things that I would hate to be corrupted by a need to please my audience. I want to be able to come on and say what I feel, how I feel it, and then come on and day later and say, well, maybe I didn't think that all the way through. Or in the middle of a conversation, say, you know what, person speaking, you're correct and I am wrong on live without feeling like I am letting down an entire group. Like I don't like that hanging over my head. Um, which is money. Uh Black Tinkerbell, I so appreciate your voice. Statuesque.
Thank you. Thank you.
Hello, good evening, Seamus. Can you hear me well?
Yep.
I hope. Okay, perfect. So first of all, you are a breath of fresh air. I've been going down the rabbit hole that is YouTube and all of the relationship complaining spectrum, and I thought I was delusional for a good bit of it. So thank you.
Mm-hmm.
I'm gonna be as quick as I can. So what I'm been trying to process and struggle with the most is that I try to listen as holistically to as many different voices as possible, from the female spectrum, Black spectrum on YouTube, the male Black spectrum on YouTube, the transgenders Black spectrum on YouTube. And it just feels like everyone is complaining about the same damn thing about each other without the self-awareness to like understand that like maybe you're the problem too, and if you actually want to have any type of change in anything, it starts with that like self-reflection and that self-act before going into the other yard and complaining about how unkept the other yard is. And it's very frustrating because I
Yeah.
realized I tried to go undercover with this in my last relation. I'm a Black female heterosexual
on a spectrum because I like pretty women. I love to appreciate beautiful things. I'm aesthetically sensitive. That's how I say it. I'm aesthetically
Wait, before
sensitive.
you go on, this is
Yeah.
I actually agree with you. Which is why when I hear women telling other women to choose better, I'm like, okay, they're doing what needs to be done. Or women talking to other women, like one of the worst things for me is to hear men, black men specifically, telling black women what to do. And the reason I don't like it is because we have so much that we need to work on. Like,
Agree.
and so, like, honestly, what the manosphere should have been like focused on men, as the name would suggest, and then BWE should be focused on women. And if they focus on each other and building each other up, then they can cross lines and talk to each other. But instead of facing that, well, this is crappy over here, right, with us, and the institution that have been created in the United States and pretty much around the world is not favorable, right, to a lot of us. And
Agreed.
so how are we just like attacking? And I don't think it's even. Like I literally, like, black women in the United States have endeavored to improve. Black men, and I don't know. I can't confidently say that we, as a general matter, we are trying, because the way in which the loudest voices are speaking, it's just very degrading. Like, rap is talking about being a gangster. And even with women in rap, right? Like, men control the woman in rap. Like, I don't care what anyone says to me, men control the women in rap. So for me, it's really disturbing. By the way, someone just pointed out the lead attorney talking about his experience in university, sleeping with this woman who he claims was ugly, who then came back and tried to pin a baby on him, and then found out that the lady was pregnant pre-having sex with him, and he knew it wasn't him because he didn't finish, not realizing that the whatever can
That's a
actually
mess.
carry.
I'm sorry, my
Anyway,
head.
yeah. So, and he called her moves, and I feel like he's creating an online persona of being hard and more aggressive. This is not the person that I saw initially, so I don't know who
Mhm.
this man is. I mean, I didn't frequent his channel to know that, like, oh, I like him or I didn't like him. I thought he was wrong on the law once, and I went on and told him how wrong he was about libel law, and he disagreed, and then looked it up and found out that he was incorrect on live. But that's my only interaction with him. So he was on a
Yeah.
live talking. Go ahead.
I'm sorry. My only interaction with him literally was today during your stream. I've seen him pop up on my YouTube channel, but for some reason I've never clicked on, and I'm glad that I haven't, because listening to him within those few minutes was also frustrating. But I would add to, I'm starting to run a thesis in my head, but as a Black woman, I've got all the way up to my master's. Right now I'm a teacher, so saying I'm wrong is a normal thing I do every day, and I've become comfortable correcting myself and even having students correct me. I've grown in that comfortability over the past 6 years, which is something I enjoy about myself, which led to me being the most frustrated again with this delusion of YouTube. But where was I going with this? I usually dated white men just naturally. Like, my first boyfriend was white, and then my other relationships were white until my last relationship, not the one that I'm currently in, because I went back to dating a wonderful white man. But I was in a relationship with this Black guy in the Army for 3 years, and the amount of just trying to gaslight and audacity that I experienced in those 3 years fascinated me. So I also wanted to thank you for one of your live streams with, like, the title was the Alpha Male Strategy or whatever. Starting at that 55-minute mark to, like, the end of that stream, you having a conversation with a couple of those people on the live stream was like the exact kind of conversations I had with my ex-boyfriend, and that like frustration of like that meme where yes, 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 and they just go on a tangent where like everything just lost any sort of logic was fascinating. And my curiosity is still fascinated by it, but now I've like, that stream was closure for me, so thank you for that.
Wait, you need to
But
send me that stream, my own stream, so I can remember what
yeah,
that one was. Please send it to me.
um,
My email is there. Like, if you can find it, send it to me and tell me the mark, because I need to
okay,
rewatch
I
that.
will, I will. No later than tomorrow morning. I'll find your email again. Yeah, I see it. Let me do a screenshot.
All right. While you're doing
Yeah.
that, wait. So, I agree that Moo's story was weird and off-brand. I mean, I don't know his brand, but it was definitely weird. Wait, you went on his live and drilled Themis. Well, the word drill is very odd to me. The first time I've heard that in terms of the way we converse with other people was on the Honest Truth Live when it comes to people drilling him, quote unquote. I don't drill people. I don't engage that way. I literally cannot, based on my understanding of what drilling is. I just went on because I thought he was incorrect about his assessment of Tasha K, and whether or not the First Amendment implication for libel would be imposed or could be met. For me, there was an element of actual malice that was required that he overlooked. And when I said there needs to be actual malice when a celebrity is involved, a public figure, as to use the legal term of art, that you need actual malice in that case. And he said you did not. So I told him you did, and we kind of went back and forth for a bit. And then he finally Googled it. I don't know why I didn't Google it to show him, but I felt like that was kind of, this is not shade, but like that's kind of base. No, let me not. That's, I feel like most people who did constitutional law, at least when it relates to the First Amendment, understand, because the public figure was like the most interesting part of that entire class. But anywho, that's it.
Yeah, sorry, but so I'll also add, I think it was the same stream. There was a woman that came on at the end. Anaya, she was giving you compliments, but she went on a very kind of like spiritual way of talking about what is
Oh, I
happening with
remember that.
society. But
I
yeah, so
remember that.
my thesis is kind of in tangent with that, but another thing that's been going on in the manosphere is complaining how females are born with value because we're giving birth to humanity and whatnot, and like males have to earn their value. And one of the things that you please correct me if I'm wrong, because I do not exist in the male mind is foreign to me. I'm not trans in any way. I can't see myself wanting to be a male in any way. I love my female body. I love my female mind. But if you are internalizing the fact that you are not born with value, and then you grow up surrounded by people that are not valuing you, like how heartbreaking and how vengeful and how desperate can you become to want to bring other people down if you yourself don't value yourself, if that makes sense. So I
Yeah,
feel like
no,
it's just a lot of people that are fighting their irrelevancy in like the most toxic way because they don't know how to figure out how to care for themselves without other people telling them that they're worth it.
yes. I mean, so Annette. By the way, she's a smaller YouTube. Well, I'm small. I don't know. I'm pretending like I'm a large YouTuber. I will come on just to hear you talk, and I like your community tab post. You should do a video on Bernard Wiley's, I don't know who that is, live about Kevin Samuel's reaction to Brittany Renner. They basically said most Black women were not feminine, even the women supporting the manosphere. All right. So here's the thing. I won't do that, and the reason I won't do that is I am not in the business of trying to get women who are part of the manosphere to change their minds. The reason that is because literally Kevin Samuels said black women are ugly. He said black women are on the opposite end of the beauty spectrum, right? And even after that, there were people still supporting him, right? So at this point, it literally does not make a difference what these men say. People are just going to support, and I'm definitely about to play that video where Kevin Samuel said it again because I think there are new subscribers, and they oh no, don't show my thing.
Subjective.
No, it's not. It's objective.
That's why we have the golden ratio, the Fibonacci equation.
That's right.
You can look at
That's
facial
right.
symmetry and see that
That's right.
beautiful people, you can map their facial structure, and it goes to a mathematical calculation.
Oh yeah.
Beauty is universal. And the
Yep.
thing is, we're talking about black women, they are on the opposite end of the spectrum on all ranks.
All right. So that is Kevin Samuel saying black women are not beautiful. And to the extent that there are people, to the extent that there are black women particularly who think that this man cares about them and is there to help them and teach them, I maybe it's true, right? I have not seen a video that would suggest that. And the premise from which he's operating is that black women aren't beautiful. And that black women are on the opposite end of a spectrum that is created and perpetuated to uplift the image of the white woman, right? So, and he even made a video where he was telling black women that they might need to go to white women to go figure this out and learn how to get married and all that stuff. So it is the evidence is there. I think people are going to want to support if they want to support and not if they don't. But I do believe in a kind of energy, right, where people are drawn to things that they find appeals to them, even if they can't tell you exactly why, right? It's an energy, right? You're drawn to this kind of energy. And so if you look in the comments, right, you will see that there are people who are just wanting to attack black women. And I can't explain why that is, but I can say that it is unfortunate that someone whose premises their channel and their interaction about black womanhood, right? Because he ranks black women. He has black women come on and rank themselves, right? And if you don't believe black women are attractive fundamentally, then your scale for ranking black women is going to be a problem for the black women who come on and allow themselves to be subjugated to you. I don't think anyone should be ranked, right? I will rank myself, but I will never rank another person because I think you are more than your physical appearance, right? And yes, we all want something or someone that we deem attractive, but it should not. Well, for me, it shouldn't start there, right? But I also don't think it should end there, even if it's beauty is somewhere in the mix. That is not the beginning and it's not the end, because if all you care about is someone's beauty, I promise you it's not gonna last. It's literally impossible. Like, you can invest in it, you can make sure you are as beautiful as you want to be, but age, we have not figured out how to bypass the aging process, right? So when you are no longer attractive, guess what? They're gonna move on. It is what it is.
Seamus, I'm sorry. I know you don't have a lot of time. Can I say something real quick?
Yeah, I actually ran way over, so you would be the final, and then we go quickly to the after show.
Okay, so about earlier, I brought ADOS, and it was kind of like a half. I don't know if people understood why I brought it up, because I'm like, this is from me personally. I'm like, I want to I'm African, but I you have to be respectful to, people. So, but somebody said that it's a political movement, so people don't want to identify that way. So I don't want to identify, I don't know what you would identify the original Black African American, people. But my whole point was that the reason I think I brought it up, because in my own, I'm trying to understand, it's bad everywhere for women, and it's really bad for Black women. But I think there is something to having your own ethnicity of men thinking you're beautiful, or at least thinking you're something, and that is not afforded to Black women in America, and it's so disgusting to me. And what you just played, like, shows that. Like, your own men don't think you're beautiful. Like, I'm sorry, I don't want to yell. Like,
No, but
it's
I mean,
absolutely beyond disgusting and despicable, and it is white supremacist, and it is colorist, and is everything. It's internalized enslaved mentality. That's what that is.
Well, that's what I was going to say. Dean, for all he says, I will credit him for me developing the phrase colonized mindset. I would agree that this is the colonized mindset. Marina says, I dated a Black man that was unemployed and lived at his mom's house for free. He thought he was the prize because he never went to jail and had a degree.
Oh Lord, I've seen this in my friends that have their masters, and then they're dating this dude that's coming in and out of jail. I don't understand. I'm surrounded by the most beautiful Black women, and it's absolutely mind-boggling.
Yeah, no, I agree.
Anyway, I want to apologize if I offended anybody by the misusage or of ADOS, and I'm 100% not comparing beauty of. I think all women are beautiful, and I think I'm 100% against colorism and when immigrants act up, but that's a whole other story. But yeah, please, forgive me if I didn't use it
you're
correctly.
fine. I don't think anyone took it. Well, I don't know. I didn't see the comments, but
thank you all.
Thank you. All right, so that is it. I'm going into the after show now, and I'll come back and talk about what we're doing on Sunday. So let's do it. So by the way, yeah, everyone drags me about being ADOS still, so it's fine. I was going to talk initially. I'm not going to go in depth, and I apologize for bringing it up. But so there have been a bunch of people, and I'm saying white people specifically because of them pointing out that they were white, who have been subscribed to my channel. I was looking in some of the analytics, and I didn't realize how it is overwhelmingly women on the channel, but it's a lot less than I initially thought. So a lot of the people here don't actually engage with it. They watch, but they don't engage because I don't know why. But a lot of people have been leaving comments on the chat saying, why are you only talking about Black issues? And why do you keep saying white people when you refer to white people or Black people so often? Look, I'm not answering your question, right? I'm literally not answering your question. A subscriber sent me a video of Toni Morrison, one of the best authors in the world. And I'm going to play that as a response to you because how dare you? Absolutely not. I am not here for your entertainment. And every other phrase that is there, I do what I want, how I want, when I want. And it is absolutely not within. I do not give you the right. I do not grant you permission to question me in such a manner about talking about race. Absolutely not. My friends and family don't have that right, and you sure do not have that right. So here is my response to you, person. I hope you're here, but here you go. Oh, before we go, actually, I do have a response. One, it's the audacity for me, right? And the audacity is, if you don't want to hear Black people talk about Black things, you could just turn it off. You could choose not to listen to that video, but that's not what you wanted, right? What you want is for me. You want to move beyond your place of domain, right? You have domain over that which you do. But you don't want that only. You want to control what I do, right? So you don't have that authority. You don't get to tell me. I'm not looking at the comments, by the way. You don't get to tell me how and when I should speak about Blackness. Absolutely not. So here's what Toni Morrison had to say. I will play this and then we can close.
Change, and you don't think you will ever change and write books that incorporate white lives into them substantially?
I have done.
In a substantial way?
You can't understand how powerfully racist that question is, can you? Because you could never ask a white author, when are you going to write about Black people? Whether he did or not, or she did or not. Even the inquiry comes from a position of being in the center.
And being used to being in the center.
And being used to being in the center. And saying, you know, is it ever possible that you will enter the mainstream? It's inconceivable that where I already am is the mainstream.
Oh no, that wasn't the implication of my question. I think you are very, very much in the mainstream. It's a question of the subject of your narrative, whether you want to alter the parameters of it, whether you see any benefit in doing that, or will you clearly see disadvantages in doing it from your own point of view?
Artistic disadvantages. There are no pluses for me. Being an African-American writer is sort of like being a Russian writer who writes about Russia, in Russian, for Russians. And the fact that it gets translated and read by other people is a benefit. It's a plus. But he's not obliged to ever consider writing about French people or Americans or anybody.
Girl, there's no but. There is no but. She just told you she's going to do what she's going to do. Absolutely not. The fact that you even have the audacity for you to keep writing comments asking me to talk about. No, absolutely not. And these are the people who are considered super progressive. Like, no, you please go sit somewhere. Absolutely not. Like, I have never told anyone you need to watch my channel ever in my life. So madam, lady, person, no. Not here. Nope. One of the worst things you can do is make me feel like I should perform. I am not your performer. That is one of the worst things you can do. And you telling me that I need to do this or need to do that is trying to make me your performer. I will not. That is not something that I do. I grew up in Jamaica. I'm sorry. I bring up that I grew up in Jamaica because it is of importance that we don't see Jamaicans, right, see the world, I think, very differently than, let's say, someone who is from the UK, which I am partially, and the US, or even the continent of Africa. And there is a ton of maybe not even real pride, but there is a ton of performative pride, right, in where you're from, right? And I didn't realize that a lot of people, even if you think about the Caribbean and the islands in the Caribbean and how absolutely mad everyone is at Jamaican, rightfully, because we do a lot and we do too much. But this idea, and Bob Marley said something very similar, similarly, you do not control art, people's art. You do not control how they decide to speak and when they decide to speak. I have seen a lot of African Americans who do this, and I'm very happy to see it. I've seen, obviously, a lot of different Africans. I'm using that general term as a continent and not specifying a country for a specific reason here. Do it. And I love it. I absolutely adore when I see Black people fully engage in actualizing themselves and not requiring anyone to tell them how to be or performing because of the white gaze. Like, Absolutely not. I don't like it. Don't do it. No, absolutely not. Anywho, that was a rant. I love being me. On Friday, we'll talk about this case. And then on Sunday, we will talk about Squid Game. Sunday at 7 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, we talk about Squid Game. I'm going to end it here. I hope nothing I said was misconstrued. If so, I will love to clarify. Have a good one. Bye.